Jake Paul ringside, commentating with your boy. Problem child Wade concept. Did you guys ever expect that? I don't think so.
He just wants to put them hands on him and squeeze, kind of like he does with the yes men in his camp. All 15 of them get a squeeze before he goes out on stage. It's what builds his confidence. Okay, right off the bat, who dresses Jake Paul? This guy looks like if Urban Outfitters had a farmer's market. That's what this guy looks like. He's got his knapsack on. I would say there were some grapefruits in that knapsack, but we all know Jake, you know what I'm saying? He's not on the bigger end, so we'll call him a couple grapes in there. This man's stylist is on Adderall. He looks like the richest homeless man I've ever seen. People from Jake's team, all clad in yellow Teletubby t-shirts, and the most intimidating thing Jake could come up with was word vomit, in which he just stumbled over an entire sentence. And then Jake and his team held a pep rally where they all put their hands in like Power Rangers, and they all basically reminded each other when the date of the fight was. Jake's an asshole. People don't want to be around him. I don't know what goes through the empty mind of Jake Paul other than how do I get my hair to not look like it's receding on a daily basis, but the lack of mental ability to keep up in a verbal tit for tat is pretty easily seen. He just makes audible noises into a microphone while grabbing at his crotch. If a large majority of people think Ben's gonna win, that doesn't mean half think you're gonna win. That's not how majorities work, Jake. The public school system has failed him to this day.
So you won't? I think he'll be easier to beat than Nate Robinson.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Ben Askren has at least fought. Ben Askren is a world champion in a fighting sport, not just the sport of boxing, the sport of fighting, in 2 different organizations.
When I met him in person, he was very generous. He was very nice. Jake.
We're talking about the problem man child himself, aka Jake Paul. Fun fact, guys, the second career choice that Jake had after being a YouTuber and before being a boxer was a double Dutch jumper. He just so happened to pick up the rope and was so good at putting it between his legs, and he was swinging it around, and it was this or the color guard for him, right? And then, you know, he just kind of fell into boxing because his older brother was doing it, and Jake has to follow his older brother. We know this. But yes, he was going to be a double Dutch artist. The only problem was no one of the yes men in his camp wanted to be the other side of the double Dutch. They just thought it was too much of a risk to their brand, you know, just people that are known as being Jake Paul yes men. They didn't want to be known as the Jake Paul yes men that also did double Dutch, which I think you can understand. But Ben Askren's a different animal, and he's taking shots from bigger guys with stronger hands. We are 2 weeks away from Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. That is right. The captain, the conductor of the hair loss locomotive, aka Jake Paul. First today, we are going to talk about how the toupee toddler himself, Jake Paul. First off, just looking at the glare off of Jake Paul's forehead, I mean sunglasses, you can see that he's looking at some empty road off in the background. That road he's looking at is as empty as his brain is, and the MMA community continues to kowtow and fall to this guy. I mean, I love my community, but god dang, I'm a big guy. And I know he doesn't want to look in the mirror too much because that means he'd have to take the sunglasses off, which means he has to see the glaring off the forehead, and he can't mistake it for the sunglasses like we did earlier. But didn't fight this guy, didn't do this. You can't have it. If you want to beat this guy, you shut him out. Continue to put on the events that show the fans what real fighters look like. Why did I pick Ben to go in and stop the hype train that is the problem man-child? Jake's not usually the quickest on his feet, and maybe some of that ink from his head tattoo is bleeding into his brain and it's acting as like an IQ shift for him. Maybe he's gaining IQ points. All that life-changing money, all that stuff I'm talking about, fighter pay, nah, I'll just take it all from you. Scumbag, hypocrite. I told you guys, he doesn't give a shit about fighter pay. He says all these things for nice headlines, but all he really wants, power and control. All right, so we are 1 week away from the epic matchup. The YouTuber turned now exhibition boxer Jake Paul, the man with the quick hands and the hairless homeless fashion sense, versus Ben Askren. More biased toward Jake, it's his family, as much as the dude is an asshole. The man is trying to hide his receding hairline by going with the TikTok / e-boy fade haircut that he has used to now cover his 5 head with what's left of his Bosley treatment. This dude has rehearsed this 3 or 4 times in his saved drafts, and finally he's got it down pat. Let's listen to what Jake Paul has to say. Again, we've talked about this. Good old GP loves to get his smooch on with the female 17 and under crowd, so the only pedos that Jake should and would know is his actual father. All right, so we're gonna have Jake do what he's most comfortable with. The person-to-person interaction with adults, he's not the best at, but we all know from his YouTube clout, from his massive YouTube following, from his rise to fame, this is where he's comfortable. This is where his best performance should be. This is your bread and butter. Bring it home, kid. Okay. Now you're out of hand, Jake. Now you're out of hand. This man said, I know a good barber. First off, You don't. You don't go to the barber. You have a hard enough time growing hair as it is. He is so lucky that that was just a slight breeze and not a gust of wind, or we would have seen that Donald Trump wig flying off the back of his 5 head.
Then Showtime and Jake's Make Believe promotion dropped a face-to-face interview, Jake and Tyron and my boy Ariel Hawan. He also had his moments with the fighter pay and all that, but it's 29. So Showtime has put on a press conference in association, by the way, with Jake's promotion company, MVP, the Make Believe Violent Pauls. Oh, that's not the name of the company? Sorry, it's the Most Valuable Promotions, and obviously the value it holds is based squarely on the shoulders of one half of the Bosley brothers, Jake Paul. So, first off, Jake brought out his Dollar General version of the NFL Sunday robot. That's the Transformer known as Optimus Slime. He has to represent Jake, so you take on the traits of your scumbag owner. And then, listen, that's what happens when you tattoo the side of your head, right? The ink is seeping into his ear canal, and he got caught slipping. Does he mean like he's gonna pull the rest of Jake Paul's hair plugs out? Because we already know how insecure he is about that fucking Eagles beak. Presser, and in the hometown of the Cleveland Steamer himself, Jake Paul. I feel like doing the red background makes me look like I'm actually in hell. I mean, to be fair, I'm doing another Jake Paul video, so welcome home, I guess. So we are back, and we're back on the YouTube boxing. I know you guys love this. I gotta admit, falling in love a little bit with the YouTube boxing scene. I do like doing the videos on this. And I have to say this, fine, I'll admit it. I enjoyed commentary with Jake Paul. It was a fun time. When I met him in person, he was very generous, he was very nice. Jake, damn it, I like you. There it is.
And the person we've been the most critical of, for good reason, is Mr. Jake Paul. I don't like doing a lot of the Jake Paul stuff myself. I know you guys don't believe that, but it's true. I don't like talking about this guy, giving him any more press than he already gets. I mean, he's got one of the biggest YouTube channels on the platform, but here's the deal. Everyone sees this guy as a legitimate tough guy. Jake Paul is the opposite of a tough guy. In fact, Jake Paul's a bully.
He was very generous, he was very nice. Jake, I like you.
Jake Paul, who is at his core a money-hungry, self-centered, YouTube view-chasing, just how much of a scumbag Jake Paul is. This is how his inner mind is working at a snail's pace at all times. You guys see this Rubik's Cube here. The odds of Jake actually understanding what a Rubik's Cube is and how to solve it are very slim. It's more likely that Jake would do what he's doing to what I'm assuming is a White Claw can at 8 a.m. in the morning and try to bite it in half thinking it's actual in stupor. So right here, this is Jake's boxing coach. I want to point out, it was none other than BJ Flores, his boxing coach, a professional boxing coach. The professional that was supposed to be watching over this thing. The whole lot of you, a bunch of pussies. All of you. Dude. I swear to God, this guy right here, man, this fucking guy right here. Oh my God, Jake, you need your ass kicked. You flat out need your ass kicked. Again, BJ Flores is complicit in this. What a fucking scumbag he is. Pussies, his fucking crew. So there you have it. Jake Paul truly shows who he is. He's not a good guy. He's not. I don't care what you guys say about behind the scenes. He's so good.
He was very generous, he was very nice. Jake, I like you.
In fact, Jake is still the problematic man-child that he always was. And this does nothing to get him any kind of self-respect in the combat sports game. I can guarantee you that. Ask professional boxers what they think of guys like Jake Paul. And you could say it's because of clout chasing, and you could say it because they get paid more than these guys, but at the end of the day, these fools don't care about boxing. They don't. They do things because it gets them views, it gets them money, and because they can step on people, make themselves look cool for that day, and get the social media algorithms in their favor for that day, post a cool picture on Instagram, post their video, and all you guys eat it up. This dude's an asshole. Everybody that was around him that day is an asshole for letting this happen. BJ Flores, the only professional that was there that day in a controlled environment, didn't once step in and try to stop that. In fact, he was on the sideline cheerleading with his fucking pom-poms out. It's also the responsibility of the real professional, BJ Flores, the trainer of this fucking moron.
Folks, we are back once again. It's round 3 with the former world-class boxer turned massive part of Jake Paul's team. You all know him. He's a friend of the show now. It's BJ Flores. BJ, what's up, man?
Time to charm, Wade. I think this is our 3rd time, right?
It's our 3rd one.
Again, BJ Flores is complicit in this. What a fucking scumbag he is.
It's on meeting you as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely great to me. You've done so well for yourself.
Let the nightmare begin.
Thank you for having me.
KSI, the Wade concept. Make sure you guys buy those pay-per-view tickets. I think we're almost sold out now.
You made a deal with the devil. Messiah.